Marshall Rosenberg intended NVC to be a way that we could get in tune with the flow of natural giving. Natural giving is when we enjoy giving, when it just feels like a wonderful thing for us to create and to share or to serve. When we love someone, it often does not feel like something heavy and tiresome to do something for them. We, in fact, yearn for opportunities to demonstrate our love. And we can love everyone, not just our romantic partners or our best friends. But to get there in the workplace, that's, of course, it seems utopian. And I do suppose that it makes sense to think in terms of taking baby steps. We can always be a little closer to acting from love, do things a little bit more harmoniously. But ultimately, this utopia is what we're shooting for with NVC. And we can get to that utopia by trusting the natural system that is within us. And we also need to address why we're not already living according to this natural system. After all, if it's natural, it should just be working, right? So we need to address the blocks that are there, that are obscuring our natural state. And those blocks are kind of made of thought energy. Our thoughts get in the way of the natural flow of our life energy, the energy that flows within us. We need to adjust how we're thinking, and NVC gives us the tools for that. But because there's a lot of also energy behind these thoughts, that can require quite a shift in order to have that shift happen. We need to hold empathic space for our feelings and get to that place beyond the feelings that looks like the longings or the dreams of a better world. That beautiful place which is actually quite peaceful underneath the feelings, and which also gives us a strong hint or inspiration as to where our life energy wants to flow, also in practical terms. Not just, not just crying about our feelings or raging or whatever it is that needs to happen, either with a therapist or with a friend who's listening to you, as we often do in MVC. But once you get to the peaceful, beautiful place underneath the feelings, you have a clear inspiration about how you want to work in the real world, how you want to interact maybe. And not only is that the inspiration about how you want to work, it's also contains within it this package of wholesome, intelligent energy. And when you're living in that energy, nothing feels like effort. Everything feels like a joyful giving. So that's the work of MVC, and a lot of the time we get first in contact with this life energy that wants to come out when we get into conflict. So when a conflict comes up and we feel like another person is the problem, often first what we have to do is say, okay, I can't talk about this right now, and you make some space, you make some time, and you go to someone else. someone who has the skills, the NVC skills, or perhaps similar skills with a different name. It doesn't have to be officially NVC. Listening is not trademarked by anyone. But you get deeply listened to. You go through your feelings, you reach the beautiful place underneath. And that can take actually weeks, that can take months even, if something's really intense, really big. And in the meantime, you just got to deal however you can with the conflict. Maybe just keep avoiding the person, or keep things formal, keep things kind of as in a kind of structure that lets you at least somewhat interact with this person if you have to. And after weeks, months, I mean, it could be a second. Sometimes it really is just a second, and you can do it in the same conversation. But if it's big, it might take a long time. But whenever you're done, you can go back to that person, and you can talk from that beautiful place which you found within yourself, and things shift. And then as things shift, you can start to live from this harmonious, beautiful place. This work of shifting energies for me is as much NVC as the quick shifts. The quick shifts are maybe more what people are thinking of with NVC, when in just a second you can go inwards and see, yeah, this is what I long for. And then you speak from that place, and then suddenly the whole conversation shifts. It's like a click, everything just moves into place, and that's beautiful. But sometimes it takes a month. That's also NVC. And maybe you sometimes have to do a work of distinguishing when it can be quick and when you just really have to step back. But NVC is just as much these shifts which can be shaking you to your foundations. But that is how we get to that store of life energy that not only empowers us, it makes us younger, it gives us life, it gives us joy, it gives us juice, that juiciness of a life well lived. It gives us enthusiasm, inspiration, power, real power, power with and not power against people. It gets us into the flow, it brings us intelligence. There's so much in this. So it can be so much worth doing that month-long work to get to that package of life energy that otherwise you would be cut off from. Marshall Rosenberg said, "You will live longer," and I believe it. I believe that when you can access that life energy, it's going to fill you up from the inside out, and it's going to make you younger and stronger. Or if you're already young, it's going to keep you young, make you just more vital, give you vitality. That's what we're looking for. So it's not always just words. Very often it is so much more than just switching the words you use. But I will say this, because the blockage to your life energy comes from thoughts, shifting the words is key to letting the life energy flow. Yeah. So there is that. But it's not always easy. It's not always possible to just switch the words you're using. Words have momentum. So NVC is work. It's real work. But gorgeous work. The payoff is incredible. let's work together and you'll see.